We get to learn how to actually make these nuts. So we have here a Bavarian nut maker. What is it really called?
It's a Bavarian nut glazer.
Glazer. So we're going to glaze these nuts.
Yeah,
basically.
so the process that we're doing is we're just creating candy on top of the nuts. And as that candy shell finishes, it's called cracking candy.
Okay.
We're going to make sure the other ingredients cook up at the same time. And then at the end, we'll glaze it up and we'll have some nuts.
I'm excited. So what do we do first?
Okay, first thing we do, got to add some water. So we're going to do
Okay.
water and sugar. So water goes into the pot.
Put
And
the water
then
in. Okay.
we put some sugar in,
Great.
pure cane sugar,
Wow. Pure cane sugar.
and then some cinnamon. We put cinnamon in just about every flavor we do.
Okay, so what is the flavor we're making today?
This is salted toffee macadamia nuts, our top
Salted
seller.
toffee macadamia nuts. This is going to be great.
All right, so let's go.
Ooh,
Flame
it smells
on.
so good, you guys. He's turning on the flame. Here we go. We're heating up the pot. Now, when we turn on the flame, what happens? Is this all solidify? How do we want this to be?
So we're going to go through 3 processes of sugar cracking here.
Okay.
So the first process, the sugar and water is going to liquefy.
Ooh.
And so we get the first step of candy. And as the heat goes, we're going to get rid of all the water in that sugar, and it's going to turn into a powdered form.
Wow.
And then that will melt, and that's called cracking. And when you crack sugar, it becomes candy.
Okay, great.
So we're going to wait until the sugar is ready to roll.
So how long is this process whenever we're mixing here?
The full process of the nut roasting takes about 10 minutes.
Okay, so about 10 minutes to let this heat up.
Oh no,
and
10
do its
minutes is
thing.
the whole thing.
Oh, 10 minutes is
Yeah.
the whole thing. Okay, so just kidding. We're in here in a couple of minutes. He's going to dump this
Yep.
in when it starts to heat up and solidify into
We're just-
crack candy.
We're just waiting for it to bubble here on the side. So
Okay.
once we see it bubbling, we can put the macadamias in.
Oh my word, look at that. So 10-minute process.
And so while the nuts are going through this first stage, I'm going to get everything else ready over here.
Love it.
So we've got butterscotch in my blender.
Okay.
We'll get those ground up.
What kind of butterscotch do you use? There has to be some type of one that you absolutely love.
There's a name brand one I love using, Werther's Originals. It just has a great flavor.
Oh, I
and
love
makes
that
a good
flavor.
glaze.
That
So
is my
here we
favorite.
go.
Here we go, blending it up.
And we're just going to turn that into a powder.
You guys,
Get
this
it ready to
smells
go
phenomenal.
in. So we're going to use some granulated salt. This will get
Granulated
added to the
salt.
butterscotch.
Ooh, that gives it that good flavor.
Exactly, yeah.
Love
We're
that.
mixing sweet and savory.
That's
and then
what
I'm
we
going
want.
to take
Savory nuts.
I'm going to take some of these sea salt crystals and we're going to sprinkle those on at the end.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just get that ready. And then over on our table over here, we've got the toffee bits all ready to go. This is where we're going to finish.
Oh, I love that. Can I smell that?
Please.
Look at that, you guys.
The toffee smells great, but wait till you smell my nuts.
Can't wait to smell them.
And this is what we call the aromatic fishing pole. When I cook the nuts and put the steam in at the end, that smoke will go out into the neighborhood, and we'll just draw
Wow.
customers in. It's like
So this is
toucan
cool.
sand.
We can actually explain the process. So when it starts to heat up, it goes into the vent and through the outside of the
Yeah.
window here.
I have a ventilation fan here, and then we're
Woo!
just getting all that good smelling stuff out into the neighborhood.
So when you walk by in Kaua town, there's this little deck area. Coming down the stairs, you can actually see the vent coming, and you can smell the deliciousness from the actual process of making these nuts. Everything is starting to caramelize onto the nuts, right?
Yeah, so this is the
Okay.
second stage now. We've achieved a powdered form of the sugar. So
Okay.
a lot of the moisture is being drawn out of the macadamia nut. It's being drawn out of that sugar coating. So this is going to turn into a powder. And then we'll see at the edges of the pot, it'll start to turn into a glaze and release the sugar off the edge.
So you were telling me a little bit about this machine here, and you say it's originated from Germany. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, around Christmas time in the Bavarian region of Germany, it's a tradition to do cinnamon almonds. So this is the same process they do. There's more cinnamon and it's done with almonds, but that's a yearly tradition. If you talk to anybody from that region, they'll remember growing up around Christmas time getting warm bags of almonds from the street vendors that have machines similar to this.
Oh, that is phenomenal. I love the history of the different machines that you can bring here and use from different countries. That is really cool.
So now we're going to see the sugar starting to clump up, turn shiny, and fall off the edge of the pot here. Now, when you do this back in the old days, you have a big spoon, and it's
Right.
constantly stirring this up. You have to keep the nuts agitated, otherwise the ones on the edge will just burn.
Right, right, because we have that heat really solidifying that sugar. I love
Exactly.
that.
Well, luckily, we have these stirring arms that just do all the work for us.
Right, so we don't have to do it ourselves.
So, as I said before, as the sugar cracks, we have to add the other ingredients so
Okay.
that they all finish at the same time. So near the end, it becomes a little bit of a race against time.
Wow.
You've got about 30 seconds between when the sugar cracks and, until it burns. So we got to get everything in there before we get to the end of that process. So the
That's
first
okay,
thing we're
so
going to
here
put
we
in
go.
here is the salt.
Okay.
And that sea
Salt
salt will go
going
in
in.
just as it starts to get shiny. We're going to cover it with butterscotch, and then we have to finish it off with a little bit of water. This will steam the sugar against the nuts.
Wow, so here's your time frame here. You know, so how do you know when to actually start pouring and getting all that 30 seconds in order
You
before
know,
it starts to burn?
it's a long process to learn how to do the roasting.
'Cause
Every
I can
day
see
you
the
have
little steam
you
coming
have
up.
different levels of heat and humidity throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
and so all that's going to affect how the nuts finish.
Yeah, and you can see all the steam rising up from those nuts right now. He's just turned on the vent. All right,
Here-
so he's going to start
Here
adding
comes
in.
the salt,
Comes the salt.
and you're going to hear the salt. It sounds more granularly. We're going to wait till that sound goes away a little bit.
Love that.
We deal with percentages when we're doing this. I'm going to wait till it's about 50% shiny, and then we'll add the butterscotch.
All right,
And we're going to be
butterscotch
finishing
in.
this up really soon.
Woo!
So we're going to have some steam popping outside.
Here we go. Here comes the steam, you guys. You can smell the aromas of the mac nuts. It's incredible.
And there it
Yep,
goes.
there's a sizzle.
Now I have to run and get my pot holders, which I left in the other side of the kitchen.
That's all right.
Be right back.
Okay. All right, you guys, so this is phenomenal. I've
behind.
never seen this process done before. This is a really
I'm gonna
cool
grab that pot
machine
out
to
of there.
work with. I love that Billy is working with this. It's amazing.
All right, let's get these nuts out of the pot. And we're gonna come right towards you guys
Okay,
here.
we'll come back.
Just shake them up to make them loose.
Woo!
We're gonna plop them right in the pan. Blah! And then we'll get
Wow,
this hot
look at
pot
that.
into the sink.
And I just want to smell. Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my word. So nice. Beautiful. Look at that.
Okay, guys, now
What do we do next?
we're gonna put some sea salt on top here. So I'm just gonna do a sprinkling. I just eye this.
Make it
Say-
really savory and
Yeah.
yummy.
It's a handmade product, so we're not doing exact things here.
Right.
We're just making it look good, just like Grandma did. So I'm gonna stir that up a little bit, get those sea salt crystals mixed in. And then we're gonna sprinkle this butterscotch on. And I want this stuff to
Ooh.
just par melt to the surface. We're not trying to melt the butter or the toffee. And we don't want it to fall off. So we're gonna let that sit there for a while, let it melt to the surface. Give it one more stir and let it cool down.
I love that. And you can just smell all of everything you've added in there. You could smell the butterscotch, you could smell the sugar, you could smell the cinnamon. It's phenomenal.
Yes, such a great smell. People love smelling the cinnamon and sugar. It's like waffle cones. It just draws you right in.
Exactly it.
So this is
Waffle
the best
cones.
advertisement I have, is the smell of the nuts.
Oh, that's so yummy.
The other great thing is I do allow people to sample the nuts here. We serve you in a COVID-safe situation here. We're giving you a little cup of nuts, and you can try them 6 feet away from people here in the shop. And you can try something like this or any of our other flavors if you come here down to our Kaua store.
Oh, I love that. So samples galore. So if we wanted to come in and try one specific nut that we think would be really good, you're able to do that for everybody, which is really
Exactly.
neat. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we have a display table with all of our nuts, and if something looks good, you just come ask us for a sample and we'll give it to you for free.
I love it. All right, so we just finished roasting our macadamia nuts. I can't wait to try it. So what do we got here, and how do we eat this? Like, should I just put my hand in there? What do we got going
Well,
here?
you know, you can go pig at a trough and just stick your face right in there and enjoy it, but the way we do it here at the nut shop is nice and safe. Some sanitized tongs, and I'll break off one of those and put it in a cup for you to try.
All right, I'm just gonna get right in it. Do you wanna try it with me?
Sure.
All
yeah,
right, he's
I
gonna get
love
his
to.
little cup. We're gonna do it together, or wherever it is, or
Thank
finger.
you. All right.
All right, you ready? All right,
in.
let's give this a try. Oh yeah. Sweet, savory. I can taste that salt in there,
We check-
and the toffee.
Yeah,
Toffee
the
bits
toffee's
are
a little
great.
separate flavor in there from the butterscotch.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so Remind me what this machine's name is again.
Oh yeah, this is a Bavarian nut glazer, also known as Profi.
Loving it. Look at that, you guys. Amazing. Mm.
You gotta get the 2 nuts in one hand.
Right? Ready, go.
Yeah,
Throw it up in the air.
Handful of nuts.
See if you can catch one.
That's
Catch it. That's kind of, it's a big nut to be thrown up in the air.
Yes.